Namaste, my dear friends, my dear subscribers, and I hope all of you are doing well. Now, I'm super excited to talk to you about this video. This video is about understanding what is the most important remedy that you need to do. Now, if at some point you've been to an astrologer, he or she would have given you a series of remedies to be performed, right? But it is also important to understand that once you keep doing it, after some time it sort of fizzles out. Why? Or you don't have the discipline, or you don't have the you don't have the sort of momentum. The momentum just dies off. Why does that happen? And this is very, very important, and many people come to me and say the same thing as well. It says, Prakash, I've got the remedies, I've been doing it, but it doesn't carry on, doesn't have the inertia, the momentum to push on. It just dies off. So let me tell you why. The reasons for remedy, which I always give to my clients, is that the remedies needs a foundational slab. Like if you're building a house, if the house is the remedy which has been given, the specific remedies which have been given, these remedies would need to sit on a slab, or on a very solid concrete. That is the foundational remedy. That is the one that all of us needs to work on. Once you have built the foundational remedy, then all the other specificities will be sturdy, will be strong, right? So what is this foundational remedy? By just doing this remedy, trust me, my friend, that you will find a lot of changes in your life. I'm not saying it simply. Many of you who has taken who my clients and my friends have taken a report or consultation from me know that I'm a very pragmatic person. If it doesn't work for me, I do not want to share. This one works. This one totally, it has changed my life personally. Since I've been doing it for the past, 15 years, perhaps, maybe longer. It has shifted my life. I've understood many profound things which have been really lying in front of me all of these years. But only by performing this foundational remedy, I begin to get clarity, focus. It's a paradigm shift, right? So which is why I'm very excited to talk to you about this remedy. Okay, so how do you, what is it first of all? It's basically to find your Ishta Devatha. Now Ishta Devatha, Ishta, right? Ishta means preferred, Devatha is deity, right? Now a little bit of confusion here. Some people thought Ishta Devatha means the god that he or she likes. Say if you have a natural feeling or a connection with Lord Krishna, for example, and you call Lord Krishna Ishta Devatha. Well, it's partially correct. But in Vedic Astrology, Ishta Devatha has a different context. Ishta Devatha means, of course this is in the context of Vedic Astrology. Ishta Devatha means the deity would lead you to the path of righteousness, to the path of moksha, right? To the dharmic way of living, to give you clarity so that you will lead a life of pure happiness. Happiness is not defined by what we have, but the purpose of life, right? So you will understand the purpose. So once you have this strong purpose, you will see that your life will start to slowly change for the betterment. Of course, you will see everything has a reason. Whatever that you do, whatever the people that you see, places that you go, and you'll notice that whatever things that you're working on will fall beautifully into its places. So this Ishta Devatha, this preferred deity, is the most important remedy. You just need to know how. So I'm here to share to you, how do you find your Ishta Devatha? It's quite simple. Of course, there are many complexities here, so forget about all the complexities. I'm just going to give you, the cream of it. Just have to just follow this, and you'll actually find your Ishta Devatha. First thing is need to find, if you look at your charts. If you don't have a chart, then I suggest that you consult some astrologer and try to get your charts. If not, there are some free tools available, or some wonderful paid ones as well, which I suggest you download, and you can put in your data and all that. They key in your data, and it will reveal your charts. Now once you have your charts, you look at your Atma Karaka. Atma Karaka is the soul's significator. What does your soul crave? Okay, I don't want to go into much details. Just going straight to the point. Number one, to find Ishta Devatha is to look for your Atma Karaka. Atma Karaka is the longest longitude, or if you look at your charts, it's sometimes as denote by AK or Atma Karaka. It's basically the longest longitude. Now, Rahu is in reverse, the Atma Karaka. If you look at your chart, and you will see your graha, and on the side of the graha you will see the longitude, and the longest longitude, say you have Jupiter as longest, it seems apparent that Jupiter is at the longest longitude within the zodiac. Say it's in 25 degrees 13 minutes, okay, of Aries, for example, and the rest are lower than that, 18 and 12 and so on. But you notice the system or the software shows that Rahu is the Atma Karaka, and you notice Rahu is at 2 degrees of Libra, for example, right? And why does it show that? Because Rahu is calculated in reverse, right? If you take the entire zodiac degrees 30, then you minus with 2 degrees and you have 28 degrees. So in comparison with Jupiter, which is only 25, which would obviously make Rahu as the Atma Karaka. But these are just details, okay? Softwares will actually calculate that for you. I'm just sharing a little bit information here. Yeah, also Ketu will never be Atma Karaka for a simple reason, because Ketu itself is the Moksha Karaka. Moksha means the state of sanctity, or the graha which is responsible to break the shackles of samsara. Samsara is the process of the cycle, I would say, cycle of birth and death, the reincarnation process. That is what naturally all of us trying to break, right? So, and that's what essentially Vedic astrology is trying to do, is trying to tell us what we should do in order for us to break that cycle of samsara. So Ketu is responsible for that, which is why it will never be your Atma Karaka. So that's number one. Find your Atma Karaka. Now, look at the Atma Karaka. For example, Jupiter is your Atma Karaka, right? Now, if you look at Jupiter in the Navamsa, in your D9 chart, right? Look at the position of Jupiter there. Now, the 12th house, for example, Jupiter is in, as previously I was saying, say Jupiter is in Aries, and it happened to be a Vargotama in the Navamsa. Jupiter is also in Aries, for example, okay? Now, Jupiter or the Atma Karaka in the D9 is called Karakamsha. So the 12th house from Aries, right, is Meena, all right, Pisces, right? So that house is called the Jivan Muktamsa house, right? Jivan Muktamsa is your self identity, your self impression, okay? That is the house which will release us from these shackles of samsara. It's a very important house. You can look it up on the internet, or you can, in the reference also in the Vedas, you can do a search and look for Jivan Muktamsa. There's so much we can talk about Jivan Muktamsa. But again, let me just do a recap here. First, look for your Atma Karaka. Once you've found your Atma Karaka, look in your D9 chart. Look where is positioned that Atma Karaka. For example, if it's Jupiter in the Navamsa, and the 12th house from Jupiter would show your Jivan Muktamsa house, which is responsible. It's the house of salvation. Okay. So now look at the graha which is being occupied in that Jivan Muktamsa house. For example, if you have, which is what I'll list after this shortly, but whatever graha that is occupying in the 12th house from the Karakamsha or the D9's Atma Karaka house or the Jivan Muktamsa house is where is your Ishta Devatha is located. Okay. So now, how do you know? So for example, if you have Jupiter, right, example. Now if you look at the D9 chart, the Jivan Muktamsa house is the 12th house from Jupiter. Now if you notice that you have the Sun if you have the sun in the 12th house from the D9, or the Jivan Muktamsa house, you have the sun prominently sitting or being occupied, then your Ishta Devata is Sri Rama or Sri Vishnu, Lord Rama or Lord Vishnu. I'll give you the list shortly, and which gods that you should be propitiating and all that. But that's how you find it. All right. So once again, I will repeat: look for your Atmakaraka in D1, and whatever your Atmakaraka is, look at your D9, and from that position, 12th house from it is your Jivan Muktamsa house, and whichever grahas is occupying in the Jivan Muktamsa house will have a reference of which deity that needs to be propitiated or worshipped. Okay. Now, say if you have more than one graha, say you have two grahas, so you have the sun and Mercury, for example, right? So how do you choose? Oh, of course, this is based on the Shatbala concept. You have to look at the strength, planetary strength. Some people look at the Ishtabala, which I don't see why, but some people do look at it. But just to keep it simple, look at the Shatbala, the six-fold strengths. And you compare the sun and Mercury, see which one is stronger. The one which is stronger would, of course, refer to that particular deity. All right. So now let me give you the list of the deities and the respective grahas. If you have the sun prominent, before going there, say if you have no grahas at all, right? You have absolutely no grahas in the 12th house from the Karakamsha or the Jivan Muktamsa house, no grahas, then whichever the house occupies will be in reference. For example, if it's in Meena, then the lordship of that house is Jupiter. So Jupiter's Devata or the deity would be connected. Okay, so I'm going to list all the 9 grahas here. Okay, actually it's not 9, but never mind. Putting that aside, let's talk about it. If you have the sun as the reference for Ishta Devata, then the god that you follow is Sri Rama, Lord Rama or Lord Vishnu. Next is the moon. If you have the moon, then is Sri Krishna, or goddess Gauri, or goddess Saraswati sometimes. Okay, you can choose whichever that god that makes you feel more connected, then you can actually choose. Next will be Mars, Mangal. Mangal will be the devas or the lords or the gods which has the personification of courage, which is Sri Hanuman, Lord Narasimha, of course Lord Rudra. Rudra is the fierceful form of Lord Shiva, and did I missed? Yeah, Sri Kartikeya, or for the Tamil speaking world, then it's Lord Murugan. Okay, that's for Mars. Next is Mercury. Mercury has been always seen as Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu's forms is very suitable for Mercury. Some people also worship Sri Buddha, which you have it right here, right now, just behind me. So you can worship him as well. Next to Mercury is Jupiter, of course. Now Jupiter is any gurus that you're following. Okay, then you can make him or her as your Ishta Devata. Okay, because Jupiter is a guru, right? Jupiter is referred as the guru, as the teacher, right? Now there's another interesting thing to talk about here as well. Jupiter, if you have Jupiter as your Ishta Devata, it shows that your path of salvation, how to find the actual purpose in life, to connect, to live the righteous life, or to live virtuous dharmic living. The only way for you to do that is through a mortal guru, a guru who was born as a human, right? And some are still in the human form, some have departed. But the point here is that your path to salvation is through a guru. Okay, so that's a very interesting point. So next to Jupiter is Venus. Venus is Sri Mahalakshmi, goddess Mahalakshmi, or goddess Parvati as well. Goddess Mahalakshmi and goddess Parvati. You cannot choose which god that you would like to choose. The options are there. Remember, when I say more than one god, which means that I'm actually giving you I'm actually telling you or showing you the options that you can take, whichever that you feel comfortable. Okay, like for Mars, for Mangala, I did mention Lord Narasimha as one of the forms of gods that to worship. But if you find him very fearful, and of course their forms are very abstractual, right? It has very deeper meanings. The form doesn't actually say much. It has a lot of meanings, personifications. But if you don't feel that comfortable, then you can always choose Sri Hanuman, for example, which is why the options are given. So back to Venus. Venus is Sri Mahalakshmi and goddess Parvati. Okay. Next would be Saturn or Shani Bhagavan. Now Shani Bhagavan has been always it's always Sri Krishna and Sri Hanuman. They have been. I've been researching on this, and I find that propitiating Sri Krishna or Sri Hanuman has been always beneficial as the Ishta Devatha for Shani Bhagavan. You can also worship any form of Mahavishnu, Sri Narayana, Venkatachalapati, Sri Balaji, and their forms also. Of course, the last you have the nodes Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is specifically to goddess Durga. Okay, she is, having Rahu is fantastic. As the Ishta Devatha, because in this day and age, you need to strike the balance between living a superficial material life and also living a spiritual life. It's a spiritual life. This is the balance. Many of us fail to understand the balance. We all feel that material life is the thing, which is why at the end of the day we just couldn't find that ultimate peace and happiness. So having Rahu is fantastic because Rahu strikes the balance. So if you have Rahu as your Ishta Devata, then do anything and everything to learn, to invest your time, your energy, everything in understanding who Goddess Durga is all about. I'm having her. I'm actually looking at her right now. My office is also my prayer room as well. So she has been always my guide. So connect yourself, propitiate, worship. Follow the calendars and see what are the days that you need to, follow and all that, and be more connected with her. Okay, talk to her like a friend. And not only her, in reference to all. The last graha is Ketu. Ketu has an interesting function like Jupiter as well. As I said, Jupiter was to understand. Jupiter shows you that you need to connect to an actual mortal guru, a person, for either she or he would lead you to the path of realization, more the path of salvation. So Ketu is interesting. Ketu's reference of God or deity is Sri Ganesha, Lord Ganesha. Okay, now Lord Ganesha has a function, has a very interesting function. Ketu will show you that this, if you have Ketu as Ishta Devata, then it shows that this is your last birth. You are actually at the end of the cycle. The cycle will be broken after this. You would not be born. Okay. Now, of course, if you find this thing that I'm saying that you will not be born, if it sounds a bit weird or a little bit scary and all that, then I suggest that you do more read-ups on samsara. As samsara is a cycle of life and death, right? The ultimate purpose, the ultimate thing that we have as practitioners of the Vedantic culture, some Hindus or even Buddhists, is to realize the samsara and to break the shackles of samsara. So Ketu, if you have Ketu, it shows that this is your last birth. Okay, that's fantastic. So you do, goodness, greatness, whatever that you want to do it with your utmost, devotion and bhakti, right? Because this is your last birth, and after this, it's going to be that you will reach to the supreme being. You will not be reborn again. So that's wonderful. So this is the list of the 9 grahas and its association with the Ishta Devatha. I hope that you will propitiate Ishta Devatha. The more you do, the more stronger the foundation will become. As I mentioned earlier in this video, is that Ishta Devatha it's like the foundation slab of building a house. Okay, so connect with the God. Connect with the God. Now, very most important thing here is, friends, please do listen very carefully, that never ever, once you've defined, once you've found your God, never ever tell or talk about your problems, because this Ishta Devatha is a very potent, very powerful energy which is always circumambulating you. It's always there, the energy. You can imagine like a being, quite literally, which is circumambulating you, going around. It's always in your presence, wherever you are. It's always there. But we just didn't know to tap. Now that you know that it is, this is the power which is, or this is the energy which is being surrounded by you. Once you start tapping into it, right? Never ever talk about your problems, because it's manifest this. This God will actually give you what you want. Okay, so whether you ask for good or bad is up to you. So which is why I always tell my clients, my friends, is that talk about your aspirations, talk about your dreams, your hopes, what you really want. Never talk about your problems. Never cry. Never have share or blurt out all your sorrow and grief and misery, and never do that. Okay, you can imagine, or you can take your Ishta Devatha as a friend, as a very positive friend, as a friend who always motivates you to the right thing. Remember that. Never ever tell your problems. So I think I've covered all on the foundational remedy and the most important remedy in Vedic astrology, and I hope that all of you will find your Ishta Devatha, and your life would be significantly profound after following and connecting to this God. I really would like to know who's your Ishta Devatha, and or if you have been practicing, or if you have just starting to know, then I would like to hear how do you find it. What were the changes that you see? What are the obvious changes that you have gone through, and how your life, which would eventually beautifully transform. I really would like to hear that. So yeah, that's about it. So if you're new to my channel, do subscribe, and if you are looking for any consultation, I do provide consultation. That all the details are in the description box. So I wish you happy and well. Namaste.